All right, we're live.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, people? What's up, my brother?
All right, hey, what's going on? This is Tex. Uh, this is the first podcast we're putting on. Reggie O is gonna be my first guest. He's the one that set me up on all this. All right. So Reggie, you did a little research today. Something that I put you on concerning the Ceste QV Trust, or I'm sorry, the Ceste QV Act of 1666.
Yes, yes. Let's go into it. I'll give my thoughts on this. I hear you go through it. My views, some will oppose some of this stuff, but we'll go through it and we'll hear it out.
All right. So the Ceste QV Act of 1666. It was started. A question real quick before I get started.
You got it. Yeah, go ahead. And you got
Can
a
I mute
tab
my
open?
mic so I don't have to hear myself?
Yeah, and also, do you got any other tabs open at the top? You may have YouTube open. Just mute the volume on the YouTube up
Yeah.
there. Yeah, go to YouTube and mute out the volume, or you can close out the
Uh,
YouTube tab. And then
okay.
yeah, that was a YouTube playing back secondary. And then also in between it, below our cameras there's an option down that says mute, stop camera, and share. You'll just hit mute anytime. Anytime if you're not speaking or whatnot.
Okay. All right.
All right. So
All
you
right.
still got your
The Cesta
YouTube,
QV Act.
that YouTube you have in the tab, the volume is still on it. Just go to it where it shows you the volume picture, not on StreamYard, but the if you got a YouTube tab open. You go to it and hit mute
Yeah,
on
but
it.
I closed the YouTube tab.
Oh, you did? Let me see. It should straighten out. We'll just keep going.
Yeah. All right. The hold on real quick. Let's see. All right. All right. So the Cesta QV Act of 1666, it was started in London, in Great Britain. 1666, it was enacted. Um, it basically created maritime law, or the law of commerce, or contract law, however you want to say it, and that every law would be contract law. Um, they call that maritime law because the majority of the trade, especially foreign trade, was all done by virtue of shipping across the ocean. So, um, of course, the Vatican was involved in all this too, and that's where you get all of your rules of three from, because the rules of three comes from the Bible, and we'll go into this as the podcast continue. Uh,
And then I was
so
gonna ask to break down
the
the rules of three
the
after you
act.
finish that.
All right. So the one thing that it did is that it made everybody an empty vessel. When you're born, you're not really alive, according to the government, by virtue of the law. So when you're born, you'll notice on your birth certificate, and that is not your live certificate of birth, your name is in all cap letters. And it would say Reginald, your middle name Owens, all capital letters. The only entity spelled with all capital letters is private corporations. So you yourself are born, according to the government, as a soulless entity that at the age of 18 you become your own private corporation. Um, you're the only reason for your existence is to funnel wealth from the private sector into the public sector, or from your pocket to the government. However, by virtue of and with maritime law, a name spelled in all capital letters that is posted within a publication, or a sign near the dock, is somebody who is lost at sea. Now, if you're lost at sea, you have 7 years to come claim your estate. After that 7 years, it is placed into a trust and controlled by the government. The government becomes the trustee. So, what I've been researching is how to claim your Ceste QV trust. So in 1930, this was conjoined with Social Security. So your Ceste QV trust is your Social Security account. Now, obviously, there's a major bureaucracy that you have to wade through in order to claim your status as a live individual. As a non-resident alien, or non-resident sovereign individual, or whatever. You can't put citizen, because that goes to court, and the verbiage that you use will either make you or break you on this. And that's what I'm researching right now. I know it could be done. I know all the documentation. I've ordered all the documentation from the IRS. But unless your verbiage is correct, you're either going to be on the hook for the millions of dollars that is in your Social Security account that you're attempting to liquidate, or you're going to discharge the account and it freaking just goes to the Treasury, and then that's the end of that, and you're stuck. So, the first step is to claim your status. Say, hey, I'm alive. I have a soul. I'm not just an empty vessel or a private corporation. The next thing would be to set up a trust account, and name yourself as a banker. Then you would open a private trust account in a public bank, to where you could then liquidate your Ceste QV account, or Ceste KV account, and a check from the Treasury to yourself, and then put it in your trustee account, or just have it funneled directly to the account, probably, is what you could do. So what I'm going to teach is how to do it that way. There's ways to do it without claiming your status, but if you do not claim your status, you're still going to be subject to jurisdiction. Claiming your status will give you an exemption from all taxes, as you're a foreign national, or residing within the boundaries of the United States of America. As I've said before, that is not the same as the United States. You'll be the beneficiary of all the wealth that was placed in your Ceste K account. You will not be subject to any jurisdiction uh, of the United States. Uh, and so anything less than murdering somebody in cold blood, you're completely off the hook for. There's other ways of liquidating this account, but I want people to go through, or to find the people that will go through what I'm going through, because this Ceste K Trust was set up for things that you need, not to help you create a business, not for frivolous bullshit. Because there's been people that have been caught on it before. There was a man that was utilizing the 1044A document to purchase a new car every week, and then he was selling it, and that's what he was doing for a living. So he was using his trust to purchase a new vehicle to where he would then sell it, at a discounted rate, in order to just obtain paper money, i.e., fiat money. Claiming your status is also going to give you the ability to obtain an allodial title to any property that you own. When you have a allodial title to, say, your property, you're no longer subject to county property taxes, as you actually own it, and the allodial title goes all the way back to the original land grant, whether that be Spain, France, the United States, England, or in the state of Texas, it would be considered the state of Texas, as they were their own country prior to uh, uh, joining the United States of America. So this is just a brief synopsis, I guess, of what we're going to be able to do as far as free citizens, actual free men on the earth, as opposed to considered empty vessels that have no other reason in the world to exist other than to funnel wealth to the establishment.
All right, and then you got some comments in here. If you look in, you see where it says comments. You can pull up your comments. You got a few people in the chat as well.
I do not see. Wait. Yeah, okay. Comments. Yeah. Okay. UMCC. A long time ago, I know people who went to prison for this shit too. That's right, because they didn't do it. They didn't do it correctly, and so you know the possibility is there, if you fuck up in doing this, then the potential for going to prison is there, and once this transpires, you can't be shaky. All right, you've got to expect prosecution. You've got to expect them to come after you. Um, Stand firmly upon your rights, because a sovereign individual is not subject to the Constitution. It's the Articles of Confederation and the Declaration of Independence. That's what you're going to stand on.
And how do you go about doing that? Man, I got a cousin who was into this stuff. I'm just tuning in because I ain't rocking with nothing. I'm gonna watch y'all try this shit. Like, I had a cousin who was on that sovereign shit. I used to tell his ass, don't go to no
Hey,
cop
look,
talking that shit.
yeah. So going into court. So within my research, I've discovered, and that you could get out of any court case anything short of cutting a motherfucker's head off. All right, and bury him in a shallow grave. Uh, the first thing you've got to do is challenge jurisdiction as soon as you get into the courtroom. How do you do that? So let's talk about the courts. Let's talk about the courts. Okay, everything, like I said, is contract law or the law of commerce or maritime law. The first thing you see when you go into the courtroom is going to be an American flag, and it's the wartime flag. It's not even the peacetime flag, right? And it's got gold fringe around it. Okay, that's the United States flag of admiralty, which basically says that this court is subject to maritime law and only that. All right. Prior to the court case, the prosecutor is required to purchase a bond. So there's actually 4 bonds that are filed when you go to court for anything, even as little like a speeding ticket. All right. Your Ceste KV trust is liened for $2 million. Okay. And then you have the bail bond, right? Okay. You've got a bid bond and you've got an surety bond. That prosecutor is supposed to go file an surety bond prior to the case, which basically is going to state that that court is going to get paid win, lose, or draw. If you go in there before him, because they're betting that you don't know this shit, all right? So the prosecutor don't bring his checkbook over there to the damn courthouse, all right? But if you step in there and you purchase the surety bond and then go into the courtroom, you own that motherfucking case. You own it. And you know, when the judge starts talking, oh, well, you know, will so and so please rise? Hey, you don't state that you're that person, because they're talking about your all caps name, the corporation. All right, you stand up and say, Judge, I'm here upon special divine appearance to settle this matter. You don't admit that you are your all caps name. If you admit your all caps name, then you've given them jurisdiction. All right. You challenge the jurisdiction. Well, this courtroom is based upon maritime law or contract law. I'm not under any contractual obligation with y'all, so I'm going to challenge the jurisdiction. You know, and they're going to ask you questions. When they're going to ask you questions, start, hey, could you move over here behind the podium so we can hear you? You don't do what they say. No, I think I'll stand right here. You know, I'm more comfortable. You know, I'm under the AC. So, and then you ask questions. You know, say your first question would be, "Excuse me, Judge, but was there a bond filed in these proceedings?" Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you see right there. You know, I set the bail or whatever at $1,000, or oh, there was a bond set. Okay, and is everybody here? Everybody here is an agent of the court, correct? Yes. In Black's Law Dictionary, an agent is an actor. So are you a judge or are you acting like a judge? Okay. Who all here is a public servant? You know, just raise your hand if you're a public servant. Oh, you're a public servant. Okay. Well, I'm a free man, and I ain't never known a free man to freaking take no orders from a servant, so I don't think I'll be doing that. You challenge them on everything until the doggone the judge gets bent out of shape and either abandons her post or his post. It says, I've had enough of this. I got to go to my chambers. They abandon their post. Then the case is over. It's dismissed. If they tell you, get the hell out of my courtroom, you leave. The case is dismissed.
Yeah, man, I ain't trying none of that shit. I'm gonna sit back and watch because I gotta see. I want to see this shit applied. But what the money and the trust? How do you go about the transfer? What do you call the exchange of the money out the trust? How does that come about?
Okay, well, you can't call it an exchange. You've got to call it a swap. Okay, that's the only thing concerning language. That is the only language that allows you to move money from one place to another without being on the hook for taxation. And that's all commercial law. So you need to claim your status, and upon claiming your status, you can then file to have your trust account. I mean, you claim your status, you name yourself as trustee. So you're trustee, and you're naming yourself as a trustee, but you've also got to claim your status as the beneficiary. All right, and like I said, language, syntax, and grammar are very important. Once you claim your status, you will write your name capital R, and then the rest of Reginald in lowercase letters. Dash your middle name, capital and lowercase. Full colon, so dot. Owens, capital O, and then lowercase letters. Comma, beneficiary. If you don't do that, you're liable to be on the hook for some nasty gram, like Brandon's talking about. So there's a whole lot to this. It is very convoluted, and it's hard to find information on these things because it's been suppressed by the government. They don't want you to be free. That's hey KP, the fiduciary hat, right? Okay, is that what you're talking about?
I think he's talking about like the little round red hats that like Moors, that like the Moorish people wear.
Okay, so there's another thing. When you look up contract law or commerce law or maritime law, it was also known as common law. Okay, so common law is to the common people of the time, and the common people of the time were considered to be of Anglo-Saxon descent. Now, black folks would have been at the time subject to Moorish law. So, if maritime law, or would just say the laws of the United States is common law, then black folks shouldn't even be subject to that law, right? I mean, I don't know how you go into a courtroom and say, "Hey, I'm black, so I'm actually, since this is all this is all common law, and I'm not a common person, as I'm subject to Moorish law, I guess I'll see y'all around." I can't try it. I'm not black. Reggie, you're up.
So how do I apply it? This shit all new to me. That's why we gotta put some links in the chat so we can get like Brandon and them to jump on here, because they seem a little bit more well versed in this type of convo. Me, like I say, I done heard multiple people speak on this topic, but like I said, I'll be opposed to it because I'm more of in a sense of, you're here in America, you claiming sovereignty, so it's like, where is the sovereign land? Where is the sovereign economy? How do you go about your sovereign trades with other nations?
Well, what do you need to trade with other nations for?
So how do you trade amongst other sovereign people within the nation? Do you trade in another nation's currency, or how do you develop your own currency?
No, that's easy. The one thing that will always hold value is silver or gold. Now you can still trade in any fiat currency that you want to, whether it be U.S. dollars or Mexican pesos or Lebanese dinar or freaking rubles or Denmark crowns. It don't. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But that's one of the stipulations of obtaining your allodial title is back when the land grants were first issued, whoever was granted the land was given the land in order to sell it. The only way to sell and purchase land at the time was with coins of either gold or silver. So in order to obtain your allodial title, you have to purchase the land with either gold or silver. And so once you get the deed, you could then sell your land to say your kids. Say, hey, look, I purchased this land with a $20 gold coin, and then they write out the bill of sale. And then you give them $20 to purchase the gold coin back. Or they sell you back your land with the $20 gold coin. Then you have another bill of sale. The first bill of sale where you sold it to your son or daughter or whoever, whatever trusted person, that's taken and that's filed down at the courthouse with the county clerk. And then when you purchase it back, you go down to the county clerk. You do not file to say, hey, I purchased this land with gold and silver. And then you start to apply for your allodial title. Obviously, it's going to be bureaucratic. There's going to be a lot of red tape, and there's all kind of forms that you got to file. But eventually, if done correctly, you obtain your allodial title, and then you never register that land, that deed, or that allodial title down at the county clerk's office. Because you're a sovereign man. What the hell you need to go register with the county for? You own that outright. So you're go ahead.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Where I get the most conversations with people with the sovereign citizens type conversation, and a lot of people buy into it. But my thing is, I've always got the questions for it. Is so with buying land, so you're buying and purchasing land under a new currency. So therefore, you're doing exchanges even on the land. So there's like you claim to be a sovereign citizen.
The dollar bill is the new currency.
Okay, so say that's your new sovereign currency. So therefore, you're doing trade, but you don't have sovereign land. So you're within the country. America's a country, right? America's a country, right?
The United States of America is a country, but the United States, the United States is a corporation.
And you're on their land, right? So therefore, you have to adhere to their laws,
yes,
right?
But the corporation is separate. No. So the United States of America has three documents that states laws. The United States of America does. That's the Constitution. That's the Articles of Confederation, and that's the Declaration of Independence. All the municipalities and all your ordinances and your doggone traffic codes and so on and so forth, those aren't laws. And as a sovereign man with an allodial title, who's claimed his status and liquidated his Ceste trust account, you're not subject to any of that old bullshit.
And this is the other thing. So we've seen many people try to apply this during traffic stops, seen them during warrants, and they
But they're
present
doing it
this to.
wrong.
Let me say it. Let me say it. But we see it presented. See it presented to officers during the serving of a warrant, um, traffic stops, the citations, appearance in courts, and seeing a lot of people try to use those terms, speaking to cops, speaking in court, and none of it has succeeded. And even for the ones who may succeed, what's to say not it would not have they would not have won the case, won the situation, just explaining themselves in the way that anyone would explain themselves without claiming sovereignty in this nation. But also within a nation, like where do
Okay.
you go as a sovereign citizen? What are you getting away from rather than claiming citizenship? What's the benefit?
What's the benefit of claiming a
The
sovereign status
sovereignty.
or
Yeah, right. Rather than your
a sovereign
citizenship.
resident alien? Okay. Well, taxation, first of all, would you and I both agree that income tax flies in the face of the 13th Amendment, right?
Yeah, but there's another side where I'm not totally against taxes as far as a nation, because if I this is the way I look at it. I'm not one of the people who speak down about taxes. I think taxing people at too high of a percentage rate is a thing. But as far as running a nation, developing a nation, you have to be able to collect some taxes. Now you can't go to the extreme and overtaxing people, taking away the incentives of them getting out to work to earn a check, or even those who are creative to create businesses to where you're taking too much. Now you have to create taxes to be able to reinvest the funds from it. So I do believe in some form of taxes. I'm not totally against it.
Right. So I understand, and this is how people have been indoctrinated. First things first. Let me show you something. I got a dollar bill right here somewhere in my pocket. I want you to see something. Okay. Hey, this one is actually nope. Okay, no, it's not. All right. So on money that is backed by
Oh,
gold, as opposed to the faith and trust of the American people, it will have a dollar sign on it. Do you see a dollar sign on any of this?
no, but we know it's a dollar. Well, there is a $1. It says $1
You,
at the bottom.
it says $1, but what annotates uh, the value of it, which is backed by something that's considered valuable, i.e., gold or silver, it would have a dollar sign on it. I do have a dollar bill in my room. I'll bring. We'll revisit this in the next podcast because I've got one that's got a dollar sign on it, which means it's actually backed by gold or silver. Um, so we've all been conditioned to believe a certain way, that our taxes go to pay for highways and bridges and all this stuff. No, it doesn't. Your taxes that you pay to the federal government are already leaned from your Ceste trust. The taxes that you pay in fiat currency that you send to the Treasury or to the IRS is to pay back your Ceste trust.
Wait, say that part again.
It's okay. So the taxes that you owe are leaned by the Department of Justice, i.e., the Supreme Court, against your Ceste trust or your Social Security account that was set up upon the day of your birth. And the amount of money deposited in it would be the same value as the same amount of gold as what you weighed when you were born. You as a private corporation are then traded on the open market, on the stock market globally. And so your value increases and decreases. So does your trust. So if you buy a house, and when you purchase a house and you get a mortgage, Black's Law Dictionary, a mortgage is a death pledge. Okay. Your Ceste account was already leaned for the complete for the total amount as to what you would be paid for the house. Okay. It already goes to the bank that gave you the mortgage. So you pay for the house twice because you pay it off over 30 years plus interest. The banks already got their money when they liened your trust. There's forms that allow you, and the bankers know this. Not the bank teller, not the bank president, but the CEO and the CFO of the banking cartel, whoever you're with, whether it's Merrill Lynch or Bank of America. Well, Bank of America is Merrill Lynch. Whoever you're with, the CEO and the CFO know this, and they are the ones. All they do all day long is sit there and file liens against individuals' trusts. Now, once I go through with this, I will be able to obtain everything that I've paid for anything over the last 3 years. And like I said, this is just a brief overview. The next podcast, we'll go into one of these things, and we'll go into it in detail. But so coupons, we'll talk about coupons real quick. When somebody sends you a bill in the mail, your electric bill, say it's $120. In the bottom, it says detach and return with payment. That's actually a check. If you sign it and you return it and you send it, you've got to use the postal rule. See, this is why things get so convoluted. Use the postal rule and send it certified mail. With
right, so if you don't pay
a
it,
detailed letter stating you've got to send a letter to and you send it to the CFO of the electric company. You have a detailed letter stating that you see that they sent you this coupon. You've signed the back of it using your beneficiary signature. That they have 10 days to comply with the terms and conditions of the contract, which you're changing up on them because you're at liberty to do so. They owe you the same amount that they just charged you for. 2 million is the standard number when your Ceste account is leaned. Every time you write your signature, in order to create a contract with your electric company, with purchasing a vehicle, your account is leaned for $2 million. It typically is the go-to amount. So your electric bills have already been paid for till the end of time, from now until the end of time, out of your trust account. When you go to claim your title and liquidate your trust account, you liquidate your trust account to include all interest. This is going to take some time, Reggie, and folks out there.
No, they
we're gonna make it
interested,
happen.
man. This is good for your first show, man. This is good.
There's nothing more important to me in the world than freedom. Whether it be freedom of self or freedom to think however you want to do, or do whatever you want to do, financial freedom, whatever. Look, I'm gonna teach people how to free themselves.
Absolute. But I want to see where you go with it. I want to see you apply it once you finish studying it. I want to definitely see it applied. See how the people go about getting it. So once I see that, I'll start to become a believer. But like I said,
It's going to happen. All of your forms are actually. All of your forms are actually ordered from the IRS, and all you got to do is call them and say, "Hey, I need a dozen 1099As or 1099Cs or 1040 OIDs or whatever," and it's basically alerted where to send them. See, this is how people end up in prison by trying to do this. Is they'll use the postal rule. They'll send it certified mail. So all these department heads for the Treasury and the IRS that you need to notify of these things, every so many years the government comes in and says, "Hey, your office isn't office number 1 anymore. We need you to gather up all your things and move over to office 19." They're sent to the wrong offices. And they're all in the same building in Washington, D.C. If it's sent to the wrong office, then you done fucked up. That's your fault for not doing your due diligence to find out which office it should have been sent to for the person that it was supposed to be sent to, so that they could do their thing. And if that happens, then you're a breach of contract, commercial law.
Yes. And man, when you apply this shit, you gotta believe in me. But like I said, I gotta see it done. But the conversations are always good because people are listening in. They're taking in the information, and people free to decipher how they want. That's just like me. I've always got questions and anything I hear, but I always like to engage in conversations and ask the questions. So that's a good thing. And then you have the research going, so that's a good thing backing that up. And I've seen many people go with this kind of a conversation and try to implement it. Well, like I said, when pulled over by cops, not saying all of them have all success or much success, and even in courts, but I definitely want to see how it goes to being applied, and especially doing it to where you pulling the money up out of the trust behind your actual name. Like I want to see all that, but I just don't understand the concept of
Okay, I'm gonna help
people
everybody
born.
out
Wait,
with
let me say
their
this. Let me
ticket
say this.
situation.
No, let me say this. Let me say this. I just don't see like how people
I'm
born.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see how people born inside the nation, inside of American hospitals, with American social security numbers, and then claiming they're no longer citizens of something. There's something else.
Well, it's all fraud. Okay, everybody's been defrauded. So first of all, everybody's been indoctrinated to believe that the social security system is something that it's not. Okay, we used to hear about Congress utilizing Social Security as the slush fund that they were just accessing anytime that they needed to pay for something. Remember all that?
No,
Sir?
no, I was saying no. Go ahead. Explain it.
Okay, so and it used to be on the news all the time. Talking heads would come up, or these news people, well, this is unsustainable because Congress is just utilizing Social Security as its personal trust fund, as its personal slush fund. Anytime they need money, they rob Social Security, right?
Right. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Okay, well, what they were doing is they were leaning everybody's trust, and so that's how they were getting the money to do their little pet projects and things. So, with that being said, I'm gonna teach people how to get out of a freaking traffic citation right now. Never even go to court. All right. So everything is a contract. If you sign something, it's a contract. When you have an engagement with a police officer, a traffic engagement, and he says, "Well, okay, here's your citation for not for running a stop sign, whatever it is." Know that any law concerning public safety is just revenue generation. Uh, but hey, we don't want our trust lien for $2 billion either. So, understanding contract law, you've got to take into account the boxing rule. The boxing rule states that anything that is bracketed, let me go where I can see this. So, anything, brackets around it, squared in, boxed, will automatically be removed from the contract. It cannot be taken into account in the contract as it's effectively removed. So on a citation, it'll say, officer so and so, whatever, made engagement with Drake Allen Gafford. You look at it, it's in your all caps name. Before signing the citation, you put brackets around that name. When you sign the citation, you don't give them jurisdiction by signing and saying, because they say this isn't a plea of guilty. This is just acknowledgement that I gave you the ticket, i.e., agreeing to the contract. Okay. Some places you have to sign, some places you don't. But when you sign, you put before your signature, you put signed under duress by virtue of threat of imprisonment. So and then put signed with prejudice, and then sign your name. you'll never hear from the freaking courts again. Your name has already been effectively removed from the contract, and the actual laws state that you cannot be contractually obligated if you are threatened or coerced in any way to sign the contract. So, I mean, first thing you've got to do, because everything's recorded in his dash cam, and of course you need to record yourself all the time. Anytime you have an engagement with a police officer, you say, "Hey, I don't want to sign this. Here you go," and he'll say, "Oh, well, then I'm going to have to take you in." So you're going to ask a question, asking Black's Law Dictionary, as king. You're a king. He's a servant. A king asks questions. A king doesn't freaking answer them. All right. So you say, "Oh, so what you're saying is I'm gonna be shackled and I'm gonna get thrown in a cage if I don't sign this?" Yep, that's what I have to do. Okay, I'll sign it. Give it here. Box your name. Anywhere your name appears on that citation, and then sign it under duress by virtue of threat of imprisonment, sign with prejudice, and then sign your name. I know that works because I've been doing that shit for years, and I ain't got no damn freaking warrant notices for damn traffic tickets or any points against my doggone driver's license or anything like that. By law, they have to since they're the ones that gave you the contract, you changed the contract and then signed it. It was given to them. Now they're contractually obligated to abide by said contract that's been changed by you.
Yeah, like I said, I gotta see this shit, and I gotta see this shit in play, man. I gotta see this shit played out, man. And it gotta.
All right.
I
So,
want you to record
for
it.
instance, 8 months ago, I got a speeding ticket in what county is that? I don't know if it's Sonora County. Anyways, it was right outside of Ozona. State trooper pulls me over, says I'm going too fast, and then I need to sign this citation. I said, "Well, I said I don't want to sign that. I don't want to be a part of your contract." He said, "Well, you know, if you don't sign it, then I'm gonna have to take you in." I said, "Is that really the law?" And he says, "Yes, that's the law." It's not a law, it's traffic code, and it's all contractual. I looked that up on the internet as we're sitting there. I said, "Oh, well, let me look this up real quick. Let me make sure, just protect myself." And yes, it says that if you don't sign a traffic citation provided to you by a peace officer, then they can take you into jail. Now, look, you can go to jail and never sign the citation. They cannot keep you for any more than 72 hours. 3 days. The rule of 3. And they have to turn you loose. If you haven't agreed to by the terms and conditions of their contract, then nothing happens. But why go to jail when you could just change the contract? This was over 8 months ago. I ain't heard nothing back from no Sonora County. I've been doing that for some time now. So check it out. So I was sued by this by this medical center over in New Mexico several years ago when I was working over there in the oil field for Chevron. I got sick. I went to this medical center, got treatment, and went back to work. They called me after I got off my hitch, a few weeks later, and said, we didn't get a payment arrangement from you. Would you like to make one? I said, yeah. I said, I'll pay you $1 a month. Well, we don't really accept anything less than $100. I said, well, I'm offering you $1 a month. You can take it or leave it. She said, well, can't you afford more than that? Nope. Well, we usually don't do something like that, but well, hey, all this is on a recorded line, so it's all a matter of public record, right? Yep, absolutely. So she agreed to it, but then their finance department, this lady was like, "Fuck this guy, $1 a month, I ain't doing it." So she didn't write up the contract, and so during the whole COVID thing, I get a letter in the mail from this jackass attorney up in Dallas who started suing all of the outstanding accounts for all these different medical centers all over the country. And so he would send a letter, and then if there was no response within 10 days, then he would call you and then threaten you, oh, we're going to file a lawsuit against you. You're going to have to pay court costs and all this shit. Hey, I ain't playing that fucking bullshit. I said, look, that was all on recorded line. If she decided not to do it, that's their fault. They decided that they weren't going to take payment. I offered payment. They didn't take it. So, you're going to make money and the courts are going to make money, and your customer is the one that's going to foot the bill because it was all on a recorded line. I said, if you don't subpoena it, I'm going to subpoena it. Well, one could not be found. Imagine that, right? So he sends me a certified letter in the mail saying I need to respond to it by virtue of mail. To basically know that I understand I'm gonna be summoned by the county to appear in court for this lawsuit on behalf of by him on behalf of his customers over there, the medical center. So I said, all right, I got something for this motherfucker's ass. So I took that contract and I boxed my name everywhere in there. And then signed my beneficiary signature. I did not sign my birth certificate signature. And I sent it back to his ass certified mail, because when they sign for the certified mail by virtue of the postal rule, he's agreed to the contract. He sent it certified mail to me. The contract was that I would respond to him and let him know I understand that I am going to be sued, and this is the lawsuit contract, basically, is what it is. Fuck that guy. I'm gonna change the contract. I'm gonna send it back to him certified mail. And when he signs for it, or his agent, okay, somebody acting like him, his secretary or whatever, they sign it, then that contract has been created and is legal. So my name got taken off of everything. They're basically signing freaking, they're suing nothing, no entity, not me as the private corporation, not me as a beneficiary, not me as a freaking sir or a mister or anything. And I just got notice from Wilson County the other day. Neither yourself nor a representative for the New Mexico Community Health Center showed up for the court proceedings that were due to have today. And so it's all thrown out of court. They can't show up with this contract, which my name has been removed from. and say, I'm suing this guy. Well, you can't sue him. His name isn't on that contract. Well, sure it is. I mean, but he put boxes around it. Yep, it's removed. Uh, it, that name's been removed from the contract. So who are you suing here? Oh, nobody. Get the fuck out of my courtroom.
All right, so let me flip this scenario. All right, so let me flip this scenario. So say the sovereign citizen is the owner of some company, and now you come at a citizen of this country. Do you not have power to be able to sue an American citizen inside of American court? And if not, how do you go about suing an American citizen? How do you bring them to a sovereign citizen's court?
You got to quit using the word citizen because nobody's a citizen anymore. They're simply sovereign.
Man, fuck that. I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen. Fuck that.
No, you don't want to do that. That places you freaking in the that places you in the sharecropper fucking category.
I don't know no sovereign citizens yet, man. I gotta see this done. So we all sharecroppers of this country.
Okay. By the end of it, you ain't gonna call yourself a citizen. That's all I'm gonna say. But you won't have to. Okay, what I'm saying is, at the end of all this, you won't have to sue anybody. You'll lean their Ceste K trust.
I'm a listen out for as you go more and more through this. But like I say, my views are totally opposite of it. But there's others who support it. So that's always a good to the combo, to the yin and the yang of it.
Yeah, but you ain't too old that you can't learn something new, Reggie.
No, I read up on a lot of stuff, but that don't mean I'm a believe it. Terrence was asking what's salute Terrence Bailey. He was asking what's the combo, a Ceste K. And if you explain that to him.
Yeah, the Ceste K Trust Act of 1666 that was implemented by London and then just taken up by the entire world. So, hey, boxing, MMA, check out. Don't ask cops. I know you got cops friends, but let me tell you something. So, ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking it. I assure you that it's a prerequisite for enforcing it, which is tantamount to saying, hey, Drake, you got a degree of philosophy. This is NASA. Come over here and build rockets for us. It's absurd. It is preposterous, but that's how it is. You want to ask somebody, then you need to consult a judge that is going to be honest with you, as opposed to, I mean, look, you could go into court and say, hey, y'all had me come in here. Y'all are treating me like a criminal. Everybody in here is a criminal. Every public servant in here is a criminal. And they're going to say, excuse me? Hey, do you belong to the Bar Association? Well, of course we do. We're lawyers. I was a lawyer. I'm a judge now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm the stenographer. We all got to belong to the Bar Association. The Bar Association is a foreign association. It's also got a monopoly on the trade of somebody being a lawyer. In order to be a lawyer, and in order to practice law with a law degree, you have to be a member of the Bar Association. The Bar Association is Great Britain. Now they're going to say, well, that's not what it is, because I belong to the Texas Bar Association. You belong to an association that is based out of Great Britain. Now, by virtue of federal law and every state constitution, you can't have monopolies. You can't be associated with monopolies. And also, no foreign agency will do business within the United States to provide to provide services in the public sector. So they've got a monopolistic foreign agency that's requiring everybody, in order to do something, they've got to join this association, which is a British for-profit corporation. And if you go in there with your state constitution, your federal constitution, and then you accuse everybody of being a criminal, bailiff, hey, arrest these people. The case is going to get thrown out of court, or they're going to say, okay, well, hold on a minute. We got a few other cases in front of you. And then they're going to make you sit there and wait until 5 o'clock in the evening, and they're going to dismiss the case. Why are they going to do that? They don't want anybody else to hear this shit. But the judge knows what's up. And that goddamn prosecutor, I guarantee you, he didn't even bring his checkbook.
Oh, man, I would love to see somebody try that shit. Terrence said he got a question too. Terrence Bailey.
Okay.
Terrence, what's your question?
What's up, Terrence?
And man, hey, you did good for the first show, man. I see the subs that went up. People that subscribe. The views will be good, and I still gotta get you them other lives that we did to add them to the channel as well.
Oh, all right, yeah. So again, this is just a synopsis, concerning what I'm studying, and I'm gonna break it down for everybody, because you can find stuff like this on YouTube, on the internet. But it doesn't break it down for you. Okay, do this first, do this second, do this third, and when you do this, this is how it has to be done. I guess for fear of having their channel canceled or whatever, doggone, hey, I've been waiting for the government to kill me any day anyways. Freaking, I have noticed since I've been doing my research, and some of it has been internet based, that even though all of my apps don't have any access to my camera or my microphone, freaking the camera and microphone light is coming up on my doggone, coming up on my phone all the time. I've got a Wi-Fi network on my computer now called the Hidden Network that I've never seen before, and drone activity has increased. We didn't have any before all of this. Okay, we go outside. I'll show you the freaking doggone surveillance drones that hanging out here in Stockdale, America, in the middle of nowhere, an hour away from everything.
And this what I always say to that: fuck what they want to listen to, fuck what they want to watch. Speak what you want to speak. That's my way of being. And like I always tell people, I done been through the FBI background shit. I done been through police department's background. And the one thing they seen anytime I apply for them is probably why they ain't hired me, outside the economy being fucked up, is this motherfucker, a lot of the shit that I speak probably didn't fit the programs that they were part of the what's the term for that? Probably didn't fit the
Homeland terrorists,
internal workings of these agencies and shit. But like I say, nothing should stop any motherfucker from speaking what they want to speak, speaking how they want to speak, as long as you're not being hateful and trying to create carnage out of the type of language you speak about things. But other than that, it's nothing these motherfuckers can do. Like I say, they can watch all they want to watch, except some looking at motherfuckers on fruitcake ass shit. Motherfucking whoever the agents is that run these shit spying in on motherfuckers. You can cut that shit out, but they can listen all they fucking want. Nothing should stop a motherfucker to have to worry. What's to worry about? You carry a weapon, a motherfucker threaten you. Shit, we all bleed blood, so fuck it. So
yeah, that's right. Hey, if you bury them head down, it's a whole lot harder for the doggone dogs to find them.
Absolutely.
Hey, look, but for real though, hey, I agree with you. If you're not on a government watch list by the time you turn 40 years old, you haven't been trying hard enough.
Absolute. Yeah. So therefore, you shouldn't worry about any damn thing. Speak what you want to speak, have the conversations you want to have, and the dialogues and the back and forth. I'm big on that. That's why I don't mind sitting there listening to the conversations and even grasping it, not to just shut it down totally, but listening to it, but also having my own points and stuff on things. But conversations are important. I think they're greatly important to have the conversations and dialogue. And not everybody agrees with everything in this country, man, because we have had fucked up individuals who have played upon the intelligence and the integrity of this country against people. So it's always these things to think about, research, and challenge. So that's one way I won't totally knock, even though I don't
Agreed.
believe in
Agreed.
it. But yeah,
So, man, I like what you do with the whole book reading thing. I want to throw a book out there for people to look at until next week or next month or whenever I get the chance to throw another one of these up here. I've already sent it to Reggie. I'll send it to whoever else, or Reggie can send it to whoever else, or whatever. It's called The Pied Pipers of Babylon. That's going to go into in depth into the Ceste Act of 1666, how it was created, why it was created, and how it came to be adopted by everybody in the world globally.
absolutely. And man, I'm gonna show you how to just do random content to where you don't, even if you don't want to do a full live, how you can go on here, make a quick 10, you got 10 minutes of your time, you got a topic you want to talk about, boom, put up the subject on it, do a quick recording. You can launch it at a later time. You can pick the date you want to launch it and just release it, and it'll release it for you. Even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And people like to see that constant type of content coming out. So if you want to keep adding on layers and layers to this certain subject, you just get on here quickly. I'll show you how to do it once we go off of how to set that up, where you can just do a quick recording, set the time to have YouTube release it, and bam, you from there.
Man, that sounds great. 365, fantastic, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it because look, I appreciate any type of education that somebody can obtain, and that don't just mean at a institution of higher education or university. Man, self education. The best lessons are never taught in the classroom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to keep these books open.
All right, well, man, I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today for the first podcast I put on. Reggie, I appreciate all your help in getting this kicked off. Um,
Yes, indeed.
we'll talk a little bit more offline, and you can show me those other things.
All right. Let me show you how to end this one. So you see, then what it say at the top? I think it says end live, not leave studio, but the end live in the top right corner. What
In
it say up there?
broadcast.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yep.
All right. All right, then I'm
All
gonna
right. You hit
sign
it.
off. I'll see y'all
Wait,
around. Thanks for
don't
joining me.
leave yet. Don't leave yet. Let me let's speak in the behind the scenes real
Okay.
quick. All right. And then you hit it.
I haven't yet.
No,
I need to hit it.
yeah, the end it. Yeah, the end.